Coming up on this week's edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
We've got an update on U.S. beef exports and a preview of what we can expect for the year ahead. Plus, you'll meet a Colorado family that's committed to improving the health and well-being of their animals.
And now, NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
First, this important update from NCBA CEO Colin Woodall in Denver.
So it's been another very active week for the National Cattlemen's Beef Association as we continue our work in response to the COVID-19 crisis. And our priority is to protect cattle producers throughout this entire situation. And we've had the opportunity to achieve that through many actions that we have delivered on behalf of our industry. Topping that is the passage of the stimulus bill, the CARES Act, and included in that is $9.5 billion that were specifically earmarked for stimulus payments for cattle producers. We are working with the United States Department of Agriculture right now to determine how those payments should be set up, but our intent is to ensure that they are equitable across all segments of the producer community: cow-calf producers, stockers, seed stock operators, and feedlots. We know that that is also the focus of Secretary Perdue, as he's made it very clear that he wants all cattle producers to be able to benefit from this. So we will continue those efforts to develop this program and watch as USDA can get it rolled out just as quickly as possible. So stay tuned to Cattlemen and also to NCBA through our website for more details as that program is finalized and rolled out. But that's not the only area where we have been focusing our time. We have also been successful in expanding the hours of service, or getting an exemption of hours of service for truck drivers to be able to move cattle and beef as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And we're also close to having an exemption on extended waits for trucks as well. We want to make sure that all of the empty meat cases that we currently see continue to be filled up in order to send a very clear message to our consumers that there is not a shortage of beef, and that through this time of crisis, as they are under stay-at-home orders or shelter-in-place orders, that they can have access to true comfort food. And we know, just given the photographs that we have seen in grocery stores across the country, that they are looking at beef as being that comfort food. So if you happen to see an empty shelf, more is on its way, and it's through the efforts of NCBA to make sure that those truck drivers can work as long as they need to restore the supply in those particular retail outlets. We've also been successful in getting USDA to provide some loan flexibility through Farm Service Agency-backed loans, and we also have language in the stimulus package that will provide some additional loan opportunities for producers who need some flexibility in this time of crisis. A big win for us is getting the Environmental Protection Agency to make the decision to suspend inspections. That is really big for our feeders, because during this time we don't need additional human contact that could spread the disease. EPA understands that. They also know that given our track record, we are good stewards of the air, the land, and the soils anyway. So this will provide some flexibility to allow us to keep doing what we're doing, and that's getting cattle in the pipeline. We also continue our efforts with USDA and with the packers to make sure that those packing plants are open, that the inspectors are in place, so that way we can continue to process cattle and get the beef out on the other side into the hands of the consumers. And spending a tremendous amount of time with not only cooking lessons, but also getting recipes out to the consumers. A lot of people are at home for the first time in quite a long time. They're eating 3 meals a day, and they're looking at ways to cook all that beef that they have in front of them. So as a proud contractor, the National Beef Checkoff, we are making sure that we get recipes to them and we show them how to cook that product. So again, a great opportunity to show NCBA at the forefront of leading this response.
Hello and welcome to NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. I'm Kevin Ochsner. We're kicking off the show with a review of some of the fundamental factors that may help drive beef demand in 2020 and beyond. First, U.S. beef exports are strong. The final numbers for 2019 showed exports reach 1.3 million metric tons. Now that was just 2% below the all-time record set in 2018. The value of U.S. beef and variety meat exports last year was just over $8 billion, also a bit lower than the 2018 record, but still historically very strong. In addition, the U.S. cattle inventory report shows the total number of cattle and calves at just over 94 million head, a downward trend attributed mostly to a reduction in beef cow numbers. Joining us now is Dwayne Lenz with Cattle Facts.
Well, these cattle markets have been extremely volatile here over the last few weeks. When the virus really started taking hold and spreading around the country, the financial markets dropped hard, and the cattle markets, especially in the futures, traded in sympathy with those. In other words, when they went down, futures went down. That rolled over to lower fed cattle prices and ultimately lower feeder cattle and calf prices. Beef did go up as retail stores came into it, and that's led to some recovery here over the last week or two, both for the fed cattle side and for the feeder cattle and calf side. Looking forward, we expect volatility to continue until we can move past this, especially in the financial markets. The volatility is going to continue because markets don't like the uncertainty. On the plus side, demand is good, especially U.S. retail demand, of course, is excellent. We will get hotel and restaurants back in here at some point. Furthermore, exports as sales have been brisk. All these other countries, especially China, some of the other countries are still going to need product and going to look for us moving forward. So that should be a bright spot for our industry in the coming weeks. As far as weathering the storm, it's tough just because it's so up and down every day. I guess we're telling our members at Cattle Facts to kind of keep doing things like you have been doing. If you need to have cattle that you need to sell, pretty much have to go ahead and do it, make those decisions, and just realize that the story could be different as you look through the markets the next 3 weeks.
If you'd like to stay up to date on all the key issues and events from Washington, D.C., one way is by becoming a member of NCBA. When you join, you'll get the Beltway Beef Newsletter, a weekly update straight from Washington that provides valuable insights on the key policy initiatives that may impact your business. To join, just call 1-866-233-3872 or visit the website ncba.org. Up next on Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll look at some of the many benefits you get by becoming a member of NCBA. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
We didn't just design the 6M tractors with you in mind. We designed them with you by our side. The new 6M tractors from John Deere, reimagined by you, for you. With improved visibility, better maneuverability, and more ways to customize, so you get everything you need and nothing you don't. Experience the new 6M at your local John Deere dealer.
It started with a man, a plot of land, and a few head of cattle. That man, your great-grandfather. You've got his name and his legacy too. It's what you fight to live up to and work to leave behind. With innovation, integrity, and passion that runs as deep as yours, we'll be there. For your operation, for your future, for you. This is why Merck Animal Health works.
Welcome back. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association works every day to advance the economic, political, and social interests of the U.S. cattle business, and to be an advocate for the cattle industry's policy positions and economic interests. We asked NCBA President Marty Smith to share his thoughts on why the organization's work in Washington, D.C. is so important to the beef industry.
NCBA, through its Washington office, through its state organizations, we've got to make sure that we've got contact and that we've got the ability to go talk even to those that see things differently than us. Only way you're going to do that is through an organization like this. The bulk of our Congress does not have one single cow in their district. We're just a blip to them. How do we have influence there? How do we get them corrected on some of these misconceptions if we can't even go talk to them? The only way we're ever going to get there is NCBA. And that's what NCBA does for every single, not just cattle producer, but every man, woman, and child involved in production agriculture in the United States.
And here to tell us more about the value and some of the benefits of membership is John Robinson, NCBA's Vice President of Membership and Communication. John, what is the value of having such a large membership base for NCBA?
Well, Kevin, when our staff in Washington, D.C. goes to the Hill to talk to members of Congress, it's important that they know that we represent 25,000 cattle producers out there in the country. The louder our voice, the stronger our points are in Washington, D.C. when advocating on the behalf of the industry.
You know, I have folks who've told me, Kevin, I'm a member of my state organization. Why should I be a member of NCBA as well? What's the value of having membership at both levels?
Sure. Well, all issues are local, right? So we work very closely with our state partners in 43 states across the country to advocate on the behalf of our members. But really, we're representing 200,000+ cattle producers across the country. When we speak for both the National Association and the state associations, we're being able to carry that message a lot further in Washington, D.C. It also helps us to monitor what's going on the ground in state legislatures across the country this spring.
Now, you have some incredible benefits for new members right now, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. We have a great new benefit from our friends at Norbrook Animal Health, Epra Zero, a 2.5-liter bottle of Epra Zero for every new member to NCBA. That's about a $230 value. It pays for plus a little bit more for your membership at the $150 level.
We always tell people you can make money by joining.
That's right. That's right. We'll take care of your spring worming needs for you.
Exactly. And there's also some pretty neat rewards for folks for recruiting new members. Tell us about the Top Hand program.
Absolutely. We've got a great Top Hand program. Really, it is our member recruit a member program. We know that our members are our best salespeople, and we want to make sure we're rewarding them for going out and recruiting neighbors, friends, family members who aren't members of NCBA, and they can earn some great prizes for recruiting new members for the association.
You bet. So for folks sitting at home who want to become an NCBA member, what do you tell them?
Well, I'll tell you what, you can go to the website, joincba.org, you can go to beefusa.org, or you can call us here in the office at 866-BEEF-USA and join today.
Very good. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Kevin.
John mentioned some great reasons to become an NCBA member, and another is a chance to read the National Cattlemen. It's the official publication of NCBA and provides timely news and articles about the issues and events affecting the beef industry. A subscription is included free of charge when you become a member. Just call 1-866-233-3872 or visit the website ncba.org. Still to come on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll introduce you to a Colorado family that's committed to raising happy, healthy cattle. That story when we return. Stay with us.
Join the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. NCBA is the oldest cattle industry organization, working every day to defend your interests in Washington, D.C. And there are big benefits to being a member. You'll get news you can use in the National Cattlemen and policy updates from Beltway Beef, plus big discounts from John Deere, Cabela's, and more great partners. Join now. Call 866-233-3872 or sign up online at ncba.org.
And we're pleased to be joined now by Jason Jones with Datamars. He's the product development manager with Datamars. Jason, thanks for giving us a little bit of time today.
Kevin, thank you.
So tell us just a little bit about where we stand from an overall perspective in terms of traceability in this country.
So the USDA earlier this year looked into traceability, decided to leave the program as it's always been, but did leave it on the table where we may come back and visit that, where we may incorporate RFID into a traceability program. But as of today, there are no changes.
So what other forms of traceability really exist for our industry?
So a lot of people start thinking about traceability and they're thinking about USDA tracing my animals. Right. There's a lot of other forms of traceability. There could be third-party traceability programs where you market your cattle. Yeah. You may want to enter them into a certain type of sale where you're verifying that they've had certain health protocols, right, or they meet certain criteria for marketing as private label beef, things like that. So there are many forms of traceability, and I just encourage producers to use those to their advantage when they market their cattle.
You've got lots of products around here. How can DataMars help in terms of both traceability and just record keeping?
You bet. DataMars, we're the only company out there that can offer a complete solution when it comes to traceability aspects of the operation, but we can take it a step further. We can provide the RFID tags. We can then go into data management systems, collecting weights on the cattle, forecasting days when the cattle are going to be ready to ship, and then just with a simple download to an app on a phone, you email that data to a buyer, and from there, we've kind of started that third-party verification to where that data is following those cattle.
And I'm curious, you work with lots of producers. I mean, what have you found in terms of the value of data collection and how that can actually lead to improved profitability in an operation?
Well, the data is the key. The more data we have, the more power we have. We have the ability then to demand better prices for the cattle because we can prove what we've done to the animals. We can prove the genetics of the animals, the types of quality that these animals are gonna give to the end user, whether that's in a meat case or whether that's where somebody's buying replacement stock. Records are the key to adding value to your cattle.
So tell me, does DataMars have a herd record keeping program?
Well, we do have an ability to keep some records, but the big thing is if you want more ability to store more records than what our software allows, our products, our equipment is compatible with all the software companies in the industry, the CattleMaxes, the CowSenses. All of our stuff will download into those software programs. So getting the data into the software is just clicking a button on your mouse.
Just a plug and play system.
You bet. We want to make it as easy as possible.
Well, if some of our viewers are at home watching and they want to get started with either data collection or animal ID as we've talked, what would you suggest?
Well, we have a network of dealers and distributors nationwide, but you can certainly go to our website.
Yep.
A lot of information available on the website. Our customer service, you can call those guys. That phone number is also on the website. If you prefer talking to somebody, we've got a nationwide team of sales reps that work with producers to get them the information to make the buying decisions to help their operation grow.
Well, your business in animal identification and record keeping is going to become more important, not less. And we appreciate you coming on the show to share some of this insight with us.
Kevin, thanks for the opportunity.
You bet. Again, for more information, visit datamarsna.com. It's an unspoken rule that cattle come first at the Flying Diamond Ranch in East Central Colorado. That's because the Johnson family knows the success of their business depends on the health of their herd. We've got a look at this multi-generational operation where the well-being of the animals is the top priority.
I think it's unspoken that cattle come first here. If we have health issues in our herd, it's going to hurt our livelihood.
Unhealthy animals are far less profitable than healthy animals. So from a business sense, you don't want sickness in your herd.
We're very profit-oriented out here. We don't have any oil wells. We don't have any outside interests. I mean, this is how we pay for our plane ticket to go to Disney World, if you will, or college educations. We must make money in the cattle business.
how we make our livelihood, provide for our families, and lead to the next generation of ranching on the Flying Diamond is having healthy cattle that reproduce, have healthy babies that grow and perform well.
We are getting out of their way and letting nature do what nature does best.
The ranch scattered out over 50,000 plus acres here in eastern Colorado, thousands of head of cattle. We try to be pretty in sync with nature. I mean, the deer and antelope are being born now. We calve in the month of May, and this is when we think Mother Nature wants cattle to be born. Well, we'll just head down here to the creek and start looking for some cows that are calving.
As a cow-calf operation, our business is get animals pregnant and having healthy babies.
I think if you have calves kind of in very stressful times of the year, you're inviting more health problems.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, boy, they've sure popped in the last few days. I think we've probably have 60 calves out here.
Yeah,
30%.
They come.
There's a couple hundred cows out here, and 99% of them will do it on their own, but the 1% will have a backward or breech calf, and then we would help the mother deliver the calf. We could go look at that bad bag.
Yeah.
You've got her number down.
I do.
It's kind of ironic that most of the time you want more milk, but there's a good example of too much milk. Literally, that udder could be of the type that the calf can't nurse. So, I mean, it's a life and death situation. We've got to find another home for that calf. But I think this one's gonna work out all right.
That little heifer calf's persistent.
Yeah.
It's the only way it's gonna survive. These are all cows. They've all had calves before, and that's why we're not particularly worried about them having calving difficulties.
Practicing preventative medicine, we are minimizing the treatment that we have to do later and the health problems that will happen down the chain.
We vaccinate our entire herd so that they remain healthy throughout the summer and into weaning when we sell the males. Okay, I've got to load Alpha.
You're loading Alpha, Jen.
Okay, I'll do it.
Give them this pyramid shot. It's for respiratory and another shot, an Alpha brand of 7-way for a lot of things that calves might get in the first year of life. So it gives them immunity.
We don't spend much time thinking about vaccine. To us, it's a no-brainer.
We have a rigorous preventative health program in place. We just think that if you prevent the problem, it's a lot easier than dealing with it later on. And it's such a cost-effective way of maintaining the health and profitability of your herd.
We try to consult with our vets and try to do what they say, because we're not experts on what vaccine program is the best. This pair is probably 4 nights ago. I was gonna turn them out yesterday because they looked good, but then I started noticing that it looks like there's an infection in there, doesn't it?
Yeah. She looks pretty tough.
Looks a lot better than she did 5 days ago.
I'm involved with pretty much all aspects of animal care on a ranch. From preventative medicine to emergency situations to sick animal care. Her uterus hasn't contracted down normally, so it is a uterine infection.
Vaccinations are a key part of a preventative health protocol. By vaccinating your cow herd, you're making sure that your cows are healthy, ready to go for the breeding season, and can deliver you with a healthy calf the following year. When you're vaccinating the cow, you're also going to be helping the health of that future calf that's born from the cow, because it does provide maternal antibodies in its colostrum at the time of birth. So any calf that's nursing on a cow, they're getting some of those maternal antibodies from that mom. So you're helping the health of that cow and her calves, and also improving the chances that she's going to be a productive member of your herd.
We're doing our darndest to create the healthiest animals we can, because that helps us. Healthy animals lead to pregnant animals, lead to healthy calves.
It's incredible that a newborn calf can stand up, 5-10 minutes tops, and it's up and sucking. And, I think when your motivation, the only way for you to eat is to stand up. I think that's pretty good motivation. She'll take care of that calf for the next 6 months. He'll be right at her side, getting all of his nutrition from her. And a month from now, we will brand that calf along with all the other calves and give it its round of vaccines.
Pretty simple life.
That story was brought to you by Beringer Ingelheim, who's proud to feature a ranch that embodies the company's Cattle First philosophy. You can see the entire documentary at cattlefirstmovie.com. Still ahead on Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll meet the Dyer family in Southwest Texas, where innovation and commitment are helping to keep the ranching tradition alive.
When it comes to the beef business, there's no room for gray area. The decisions being made in Washington affect the future of the beef industry, the livelihood of your fellow farmers and ranchers. Your National Cattlemen's Beef Association knows there's what benefits cattlemen and there's what doesn't. To us, it's as clear as black and white. Visit joinncba.org to learn more.
Travel to the Davis Mountains in Southwest Texas, and you'll find beautiful but tough cattle country. It's a region with very few towns, but dedicated families who have a long tradition of raising outstanding cattle. And to succeed there, it helps if you're a little bit innovative. You'll see what I mean as Brian Baxter introduces us to the Dyer family.
Jim Dyer is doing what he's done nearly his whole life, saddling horses, riding out, and gathering cattle on the grasslands of the Big Bend area of West Texas.
Oh man, I think it's some of the best cattle country in the world. We get a real mild winter. Very seldom do we get any snow, and if we do get snow, it's melted off by noon the next day or something. And so it's a pretty mild winter, and then the only drawback to it is we don't get any spring rain most of the time. All our rains usually come in the summer. We get the monsoons come up out of Mexico. We call it Rancho Espuela Cattle Company. Espuela means spur in Spanish. We bought a bunch of cows out of Kansas back in the mid-70s, and they had the spur brand on it, and it wasn't registered in Hudspeth County, so we just registered that spur brand, and we named the company Rancho Espuela.
This is the Davis Mountains, or the mountain range here, and it's a good cattle country, even though it's part of the Chihuahuan Desert. but our average rainfall is about 15 inches, and we're a cow-calf operation, and we struggle like everyone else sometimes when it doesn't rain, but as you can see this year, we got pretty good rain, so we're pretty pleased and everyone's in a good mood.
Jim's daughter Amanda helps him with the ranch and with Big Bend Trailers, the company he founded using his own experience to create an innovative stock trailer with useful features that will stand up in the toughest country.
Well, my dad started Big Bend Trailers in 2003, and I came on to help him out about, I guess, 7 or 8 years ago, and so we're just a family-run operation. We actually ranch for a living, and it was kind of a fluke deal that he started this trailer business, just kind of a side business, but now it's turned into a full-time business and a full-time job for me.
Well, I think one of the things that makes Big Bend different is that I don't know of any other trailer manufacturer that actually ranches for a living, and so we get firsthand use. We get to know what works and what doesn't work, and if we can figure out a way to do it easier where it's less work, well, heck, we'll do it and design it into our trailer.
I would like to say that they're the toughest on the market, and I think that just goes back to the fact that we use them and we use them in rough country, and so if there is a weak spot on them, we correct them, and you know, everything that we do with the trailers is to make them stout and to make them last. That's our motto is Ranch Tough, and that's what they are. They're tough.
Big Bend Trailers are now sold from coast to coast, and Jim has continued to work to add innovative features to make each of the trailers his company builds tougher and easier to use. The Dyers also still innovate in their cattle business. A few years back, they switched from limousine, adding the Akaushi breed to their operation.
We raised Akaushi cattle. We got into that breed in 2010, actually. I'd gone through the TCU Ranch Management Program, and we saw some on feed, and they looked a lot like limousine cattle, which is what we were raising to begin with, and they were saying that they would grade prime on grass, and so it just intrigued me.
We bought some Akaushi full-blood bull calves and put them on our first calf limousine heifers and calved out of them, and they're real easy calving. They calve about like a longhorn. They have real small calves, and so we were really pleased with the calving ease, and so ever since then we've always bred our heifers to them, and we don't really have to watch the heifers. They kind of calve on their own, and we don't have any problems to speak of at all.
The Dyer family's roots in ranching go back several generations. Jim grew up showing cattle with the encouragement of his parents, James and Jan, who got married nearly 70 years ago and started the family cattle operation in this part of Texas.
Well, it's a real strong country, and I bought cattle for Young and Cooper out of Kansas, and they bought cattle everywhere, and they come down here. Les Cooper come down here several times. He said he thought this was the best country he had ever seen.
I love this ranch. It's like I said, it's God's country. I love it. We raised our family here. Our grandchildren grew up here, and our great-grandchildren are growing up here. It's a wonderful place to live.
You can't pick your parents, but if I could, I'd sure pick my dad and mom. It's been a blessing, you know, to have them as parents, and they've been a great role model and you know, a mentor and everything. And I really like to follow in his footsteps. And yeah, it's just been great to, you know, to work together as a family. And to me, you'd be hard pressed to find a better life and what you could do for a living that you love, getting up every morning and love what you do for a living.
At the home of the Dyer family and Big Bend Trailers in West Texas, I'm Brian Baxter reporting for NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
If you're interested in a trailer that can stand up to the harshest conditions, then check out the website bigbendtrailers.com to see all the options they have available. Still to come on Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll tell you about a company that manufactures state-of-the-art cattle handling equipment that'll improve any operation. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
Are you concerned about the impact government policies could have on your cattle business?
One way to make your voice heard in Washington is by joining NCBA. When you join, you'll have access to key policy updates and insights from Beltway Beef. It's the best way to hear directly from NCBA's DC team. Beltway Beef provides valuable policy information, and it's free for NCBA members. Stay in touch with Beltway Beef. Join now at ncba.org.
How's your production on pasture? Are profits down? Are weight gains down? What are you going to do about it? Do something cost-effective. Do something that will make a difference. To add the first and proven leader in feed-through horn fly control to your cattle rations, ask for it by name, Alticid IGR.
With us now is John Malhagen with Molly Manufacturing from Lorain, Kansas. And John, you and I were talking just before we went on air about one of the main ingredients in today's U.S. beef cattle industry to maximizing profitability really is for producers to have the proper livestock handling equipment on their operation. And you guys have been helping cattlemen and cattlewomen for a lot of years do exactly that. We're standing at one of your displays here at the Cattle Industries Convention, NCBA Trade Show. Walk us through the turret gate and on through the alley and eventually to the silencer chute.
Sure. Let's first of all, a turret gate is the name of this product right here. And what we're doing is we're actually using a remote control to move this gate. So here I'm moving it in reverse. I'm using a number 3 here to back and then back forward. Okay, so this shows you the flexibility how this works at this point. Now, one of the things in our industry that we really lack on is having a good facility that entering that 30-inch alley or that dual alley, that's where your high pressure point, that's your high impact areas. And that's one of those things that your turret gate absolutely takes all the people out of this work and also has a lot of efficiency. So one man can do a lot more work, and you don't have to be a young guy. You can be an old guy like me, and don't have to worry about getting hurt because we're not in with the cattle.
Right. Are you finding more and more producers are accepting this more automation, if you will, for a lack of a better word, versus the old days of manual working systems?
Yes, we are. As our group gets older, I'll put it this way. We need to become more efficient, and also from a labor point of view, just not having enough people out there to get the job done, or maybe not having the experience to do it. With this tool right here, you really don't have to have the experience to make this work.
Gosh, that is pretty incredible. We better take a look at the alley system now. So
you can see we're moving this gate around here. And so we come to a point right here. And if you'll notice right here, now that the animal is in there, we don't want to take this gate and bring this back onto oncoming cattle. So what we're going to do is we're going to what we call shuttle. And you'll notice that the gate is actually shuttled across, and we can start again. Yeah. And so we start over again. So this is really maximizes your efficiency. So if you have one animal, bring one animal. If you got 3 more waiting, a lot of times they'll come right on in because they watched one leave.
Yeah, and then you're all set for the next run.
Correct. And then that takes us to into the alleyway. And there's a lot of different ways how we set up alleys, but one of our newest features on this is what we call a hydraulic forward assist tool. So we can actually help push that animal in. Well, that's a new tool for us, but it really takes a lot of stress off these animals. A lot of times they'll get into an alley and they'll say, "Hey, we're not going to go. We don't want to go in that squeeze chute. We heard a lot of noise, and we don't want to go in." So they'll put the brakes on, and this really eliminates having to reach in there and try to get that animal moving ahead. So that's a new tool for us and very effective. And so from here, you'll notice another thing we've done. We like to keep these sides open where the cattle can see out a little bit, but yet we don't want them to see us. So as we walk through here, you'll notice that there's really you can't see much from here, but if they get to the side, then the animals can still see out. And this takes a lot of pressure off of the animal as well. So it makes your flow of animals easier to get them started into the high impact area. Or the hardest thing we do is to hit that 30-inch alley.
Well, that makes sense. Then we get to the very end of the cycle, so to speak, and we've got the chute sitting on the end. I mean, how has your technology, your ingenuity, really revolutionized how we work cattle from the time they get into the turret gate, to the alley system, to the chute?
Well, I mean, you can see what's happening right here. We've actually just eliminated somebody that really high impact area, taking a lot of pressure off of the animals and really a lot safer for the people. And you know, all it takes is one accident to pay for the whole thing. So, you know, it's really very affordable technology as well.
You know, John, you've walked us through the turret gate and getting the animals into the alleyway. Let's go ahead and show folks at home a little bit about the end of the process, so to speak, with the silencer chute itself, you know. And you and I were just talking, in today's cattle industry, it's becoming more and more important for cattlemen and cattlewomen when they're working cattle, or any livestock species for that matter, to have better head control.
That is so true. You know, this is where all of the, the neck and the head is where 90% of all the work we're going to be doing on most of these animals occurs. And so by having really good head control is really important, not only for the animal, but also for the person that's trying to put these vaccines or whatever into this neck area. So by having hydraulic neck bars is really an important part of the tool that we build today. And so if I close up on this gate right here, we're going to pretend like there's an animal in here, but if we want to move the animal's head to a certain direction, we can literally just pull one lever and we can bring that head around to one side, which gives us more room to do a two-handed technique for subcutaneous vaccinations. Or if we need to go the other direction, we can move the head the other direction, which gives us so much control of the animal. And then when we're done, we don't even have to put that tool away. We can just simply open the door and let the animal out. So that's one of the most important things I think we need to be looking at in today's marketplace, because this is where you're spending your money too.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of money that goes in right here on this animal, so let's do the best we can at this level.
Well, it's amazing to me how technology is just and continues to revolutionize this U.S. beef cattle industry. John, thank you so much for being with us here on Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
Thank you.
Again, we've been talking with John Malhagen with Molly Manufacturing from Lorain, Kansas. To learn more about their products and their area of expertise, you can check them out on Facebook, or better yet, find them online.
When we return, we'll check in with our good friend Baxter Black. Stay with us.
The only thing tougher than your hands is your backbone. And if you make a living doing this, you've got the toughest one there is. It's how you stand so tall. And we'll stand right behind you with the innovation, passion, and integrity that drives us to do what's right. For your operation, for your future, for you. This is why Merck Animal Health works.
We know you're up before the dawn because the cattle rise before the sun. And you spend long hours in the saddle because the herd isn't always over the next rise. And you care for the land because you know it takes care of your family. And we know you do great work. And it's time to tell that story to the marketplace. IMI Global is here to help you do just that.
At Leachman Cattle, we're committed to building more profitable cattle. As a third-generation seed stock producer, our family has been in this business for over 80 years. Today, we have the best technology ever to build more profitable cattle. Our dollar profit index is a leader in the industry to help you balance all the traits that drive your bottom line. Give us a call or go to www.leachman to learn more.
What did we do to deserve dogs? Is it because we always treat them kindly, never yell at them or kick them? Or because we promise to pamper them and pick up their poop? Why did God decide to give humans such a loyal companion? I have a typical teenager in my house. He wakes up late, rushes through the chores, grabs his backpack, and then heads out to the car to go to school. And the dogs wolf down their chow, and they accompany him to feed the horses, and then they wait outside the door on the wild chance that they might catch a scratch behind the ear, or a good dog as he passes by. But he just gets in and drives off. So they plop down on the porch or go sniffing around the place, killing time all day until their boy comes home. And when he does, they surround the car, jostling for position, lining up to be recognized and petted and loved. Tails banging, tongues lolling, whimpers of pet me, bobbing like seals in the water, all begging for attention. And oh, so sad, when the teen preoccupied pushes through his canine fan club without so much as a howdy. They're stunned. We've waited all day, however long that is, they must be thinking. Why didn't he stop? Where did he go? But then their minds quickly reset, and they lie down by the door, knowing their boy is home. And I watch all this drama, wishing I could impress on my son the importance of appreciating their devotion, and how even a simple pat on the head lasts all day. Then I remember my own youth, and it wasn't until I was a grown man with teens of my own that it dawned on me to thank my mother and call her occasionally. Oh, thank you, Mother.
Welcome, son.
I guess what goes around comes around. Remember, there's always time to pet your dog. This is Baxter Black from Out There.
Grass is the center of our universe. So everything revolves around that. We've got to have a grass program that we can count on and plan on. What we need is an effective herbicide that can kill the weeds. That's what we need to sustain us, to keep us growing, to keep us prospering. We grow our own cows. We like selling them, not buying them. I'm Tommy Brandenberger, and along with my wife, we're cow-calf producers.
Now a BQA tip from the Beef Quality Assurance Program.
So record keeping is extremely important for producers. Not only is record keeping what we need to assure our consumers what we're doing, being able to prove that is very important, but it's also just important for our business. It's important me as a veterinarian to go back into those records sometimes to try to figure out where some diseases maybe got in, and then it's very important that we make sure that we have good records just from a business standpoint.
Find out more about beef quality assurance at bqa.org.
Folks are still talking about the recent cattle industry convention in San Antonio. For some, the best part was the NCBA trade show with its 7 acres of exhibitors. We asked attendees to share their thoughts on why it's such a highlight of the event.
My impression of the trade show is that you can go from booth to booth and find something you're interested in. You can find the information that you're seeking out no matter what subject matter it is.
I don't know where you could go to find a bigger show. If you have any questions about industry products, they are here.
The trade show is just tremendous. There's so much new technology there. And so, I just wish there was more time to spend at each one of these vendors. But as you travel through those those people, those vendors, and see them. There's a lot to see and learn, and I think it's the cutting edge of the industries out there for us to see and do.
I think it's just the mix of everything you've got here. I mean, you've got manufacturers, you've got feed reps, you got everybody here. So if you got a problem or some issues you want to talk about, you can get an answer here.
It's great. It's huge, kind of overwhelming, but everybody has a smiling face. So it's great. And you know, on the equipment side of it, they offer a lot of deals. So farmers and ranchers can come and if they have something in mind they want to buy, like we did, we get good deals on it too.
The NCBA trade show is a great opportunity to really see what's new and innovative. You just can't have enough time in a day to get through it all.
You know, it's always amazing how big that thing is and the size it is, and you know, it takes a pretty good building to get a cattle pod in, and you want to see it, it's there. You know, and cattle feeding equipment, transportation, it's there.
It's a good attraction for people that make the trip down here, something for them to do, and at the same time, there's a lot of innovation that people can, you know, get a hold of and witness before you get a salesman out there, and it's just a good connection for some of these people to, you know, be back in the feed yard and say, hey, I saw that. It's going to be beneficial to my operation.
We're wrapping up this episode by sharing some great photos from the 2020 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show in San Antonio. Take a look. Well, that wraps up this edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Thanks so much for spending time with us. We'll see you again next week right here on RFD TV.